Welcome to the Ohio Housing Finance Agency's how-to video on entering a move-in tenant event manually in DevCo Online. Hopefully, as I'm going through the information, a lot of your questions will be answered. If your questions are not answered during this session, you can always submit questions to the DevCo Help Desk for assistance. We recommend that you use Microsoft Internet Explorer while using DevCo. The other web browsers can have issues or problems when using DevCo Online. To get to DevCo, you want to go to the OFA homepage. On the right-hand side, you'll have the DevCo icon. You'll click on that. This brings you to the DevCo homepage. I recommend saving this to your bookmarks. It's a great way to see any current information and updates that are happening in DevCo, and also provides you easy access to all of the DevCo technical assistance guides and any help information. You have the compliance user guide, the DevCo how-to videos, and the DevCo help desk. If you're having issues in DevCo, this is what the help desk is what you want to use to submit any questions or problems. It'll breaks down your issues into different categories, and it allows us to better track and to get back to you more timely on issues. And the compliance user guide, as I mentioned, it's a great resource. You have all of the same sections and that are included in the how-to videos. And for today with the move-in events, you'll find that in the tenant income certification section under event details and manually adding ticks. So we'll get started in DevCo. You'll click on the DevCo Online System button at the top of the page. This brings you to the DevCo login screen. If you have not registered, you will need to use the new user register here link, and you can check out the how to register video, or you can use the compliance user guide. The first section covers registering in DevCo. When you've logged in, you'll have the program screen. You may see a slightly different set of links listed here, but if you have access to any properties in DevCo, you'll have the tenant income certification, owner certification link at the top of your page. This brings you to the property listings, and this is where you'll select what property you're working on and what reporting year that you're working on. And you will see each time that you log in the current and previous year. So right now we're seeing 2014 and 2015. The new year will automatically populate on January 1st of that year. So for January 2016, that's when 2016 will show up. If your residence move-in is in one of these years, you'll want to click on that year that the move-in occurred. If not, you can click the funnel icon next to property name and type in part of the name. This limits the search, and you have to filter due to the number of properties that are in DevCo. When it opens up all the other reporting years, the system freezes if you don't do that search. And click Show All Owner Certificates, and then you'll see all of the reporting years listed for that property. We're going to be working in the 2015 year today, so that's what I'm going to click on. That brings you to the property details page, which gives you general information on the property, including the owner and management contact info. On the left-hand side, you'll have the property name, and above that are links to navigate in DevCo. Below that will be all of your building information, and then when you open up a building by clicking the plus sign, you'll have the units listed also. And when you click the plus sign for the unit, that is when you will see add new event and any other events that you have for that reporting year. When you click on an event, you'll be on the event details page, and if you've already entered information and you have not done a move out or a transfer out, you'll see all of the previous information listed for the tenant, even though it's in a different reporting year. And that's what we're seeing here, is all the grayed out information for the last tenant in 1C. So it's important that you enter your events in DevCo as they're occurring, and that if you've missed adding an event, you have to go back and add that first before entering any new events after that. So if we had a new move-in on this unit, we would have to enter the move-out for the test tenant that's listed here. We can see on 3C here that there's nothing listed, so we know that there is no tenant on this unit. This is a vacant unit. And you could double check that by clicking on the unit number, and you'll see the status says vacant. So we'll start entering our event. I clicked back on add new event. So you enter the event date. And now we'll select the event type, which is move-in. Now all of the other fields have opened up. Any grayed out field at this point is one that you cannot enter into any information. You'll want to select the utility allowance. If you're not seeing a current utility allowance listed, you'll need to add those separately, and you'll need to do that before you have finished or started entering an event. You potentially could save it without having the utility allowance there, but that's not recommended. And if you need to enter a utility allowance, you can check out the video covering utility allowances in DevCo, or the section of the guide covering utility allowances. We're going to skip over the total household income for the moment. That'll be filled in later as we go through the event screen. We're selecting 30% for the rent as well as the income levels. These are the income and rent limits that you are meeting at your property. If you have a particular type of population that at your property, you can have that marked here with population served. It also matches up with the special needs category for the household members. If you do not, I'm going to go back to the rent and income levels for a moment. If you do not see a percentage listed here that you are meeting or that the unit is meeting, always choose the next highest. All Alright, we have a 3-person household, so we'll mark 3 persons for the household member count. And we do not have an all-student house, so we're going to mark no. And we'll indicate the funding programs. If the property has tax credits, you should always have low-income housing tax credit marked. If the unit is also meeting the requirements for one of the gap financing types, like home or the Ohio Housing Trust Fund, you would mark that at this time. So we'll indicate that this is a home unit. Over on the right side, you would mark any rental assistance amount if you have project-based assistance or tenant-based assistance at the property. For the non-federal rental assistance, you will always mark 0 for that. So we're marking project-based assistance and then selecting the assistance source. The options are Section 8, RD, or some other option. And that is all we need at that point till we have our household members added. So now we're going to enter our household. We have Malaya Yosafa. She is the head of household and she is living with her 2 brothers. When you're entering a social security number, DevCo requires 9 digits. However, you only have to enter you only have to show the last 4. So you can enter zeros, 5 zeros, and then the last 4 digits. And Malia is a full-time student at Cleveland State University, so we're marking full-time for her student status, indicating her race. She doesn't have any special needs to mark, and then marking her gender. If the person was Hispanic or Latino or disabled, you would also check those boxes if they applied. So we have our other 2 household members. We have Sayudin and we're entering his information as well. He is also a full-time student, and he is at Cuyahoga Community College. And we're going to indicate siblings since it is a sisters and brothers living in the household. Also indicating the race and making sure to mark the gender. And we'll add our final household member, Tor. Again, that's 5 zeros, or you could enter the whole Social Security number and then the last 4 digits. And Tor is not a student. He is currently unemployed and looking for work. And again, marking the gender. So that has our household members, and as we can see here, I did not update the student count before, and I do need to mark that we have 2 students. It does not impact the student explanation since it is not a household of all students. If at any point you entered something incorrectly or you need to remove something for some reason, you can press delete for the household members. So we're going to go on to their income now. We'll start with Malela. She is currently working as a student ambassador, and that's $8.10 an hour for 20 hours a week. So for her employment, she has $8,424 for the year. Zayuden does not have any income from employment or any of the other non-asset income sources, and Tor does not have any income either. Malela also has a savings and a checking account, so we'll have to mark those. Oh, that first one's her savings account. There we go. And she does have some interest for it, so you need to make sure that you're marking the income from the interest for any bank accounts that have interest payments. And we're marking her checking account also, which she has 100 in. The family also has some student loans, but because those are not income, we're not marking those. And they also have some antique furniture that was passed down from their parents, but because that is something that they're using, it is also something that is not listed as an asset or income. So you'll want to double check, make sure you have all of your income sources listed. And it looks like we do. So we're going to calculate the total household income and member income now by clicking the button. This automatically populates the current income for each household member, as well as the total household income that we skipped at the beginning. And because it's a move-in event, we also have to list the household income at move-in in the second column on the right. And I just copied the information that was listed in the total household income. The total household income field will be in part 4 of the tick, as well as the income levels that we marked. and the rent levels. So we'll do one last check to make sure that we have everything there, and it looks like we do. So we'll click update. And at the bottom, before I click update, I want you to notice the non-optional charges here. If you had a fee that every tenant had and they were required to pay that was something other than their rent, you would list it here. Commonly it could be if everybody had to pay for internet service or something like that, or if you required everyone to have the same renter's insurance. That would be something that would be listed there. And now we'll click update. We can now see on the left side under add new event the move-in date. This means that the information was saved in DevCo. And we should now be ready to print. If we had any issues with information or if we were missing some information, you would have either red or orange warnings at both the bottom and the top of the page. I will show you quickly what one of those looks like by changing the student count here to 0. And now you can see here that it's saying that the students listed exceeds the student count because we do have 2 students. And that's just checking to make sure that the information you're entering is matching, and also it does a brief check of the income limits and rent limits. If you're entering any move-in events before 2014, you will likely see a warning about the utility allowances. At the tops and the bottom of the pages, it will show up in orange. And this was because the utility allowances were not required to be entered for any years before 2014. And so only for before 2014, you don't have to worry about those utility allowance warnings. So we're ready to view and print our tick. You'll scroll to the bottom page, and on the right side, you have View Tick. This will bring you to the tenant income certification. It may pop up automatically as a PDF, or you can export as a PDF. It's highly recommended that you print always from the PDF format so that everything prints onto the pages at the correct size and that everything fits onto the 2 pages how it should. So you would want to do one last check of everything here, and then you would print. If you have done brought your move-in events from an import, you wouldn't necessarily have to print it if you're printing it from your compliance software. But if you're doing manual entry for DevCo and you don't have some other source that you're printing your ticks from, you will have to print them from DevCo. This concludes our how-to video on entering move-in events manually. If you still have any questions or concerns, please submit a question to the DevCo help desk, and thank you for watching.